What's going on, YouTube family? It's your man Pristine back with another video. Here before you, I've got the Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Now, I know that I said that I wasn't going to get this device because I didn't really feel like there were, any real significant differences between this and the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold, which I have. But, flat out, y'all, look, I'm sorry, I lied. You know what I'm saying? This new tech, it comes out, and I'm like Pookie in New Jack City, man. You know what I'm saying? It just keeps calling me and calling me and calling me until I go and make the purchase. You know what I'm saying? Not the purchase, the purchase. You see what I'm saying? So here before you, ladies and gentlemen, is the Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold, typical pristine fashion. Let's get underway with this thing. Now, let's just straight up, man. Let's just get into it, man. You know what I'm saying? Price for this bad boy, $1,700. Actually, $1,800 because it's $1,799.99. So, depending on where you are with taxes and everything, I mean, yeah, you're nearing 2,000. Yeah, you are. You know what I'm saying? You're nearing 2,000. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Now, what does that get you? Okay. And that's for the 256 gig variant. Okay. The 512 gigabyte variant is $1,919. And then there's a terabyte variant, which is $2,149 plus tax. Okay. So you do have 3 different variants at 3 different price points. Obviously, this being the 256 gig variant, this is the least expensive model. But like I said, this is $1,800, so that's a pretty hefty price tag. Now, what is all that hard-earned cash gonna get you? It's gonna get you a 6.4 inch external 1080 by 2364 OLED smooth display. We've got a 20:9 aspect ratio, 60 to 120 hertz smooth display, so we do have the higher refresh rate. We've got 3000 nits peak brightness, Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2 for the cover glass on this joint. And then when you open it up, we have an 8-inch internal Super Actua Flex display. This is 2076 by 2156 resolution OLED smooth display, also featuring the 60 to 120 hertz display, PPI pixel density of 373, 1800 HDR nits, and 3000 nits peak brightness for the internal 8-inch display. Now, the internal specifications, we got the Google Tensor G5 SoC chip, 16 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage, Titan M2 security co-processor, Android 16 with 7 years of OS security and Pixel drop updates, Pixel is claiming, which that's a huge deal, by the way. That's no small feat, so I don't want to minimize that. We have an octa-core CPU. This is powered by a PowerVR DXT 481536 GPU. Translation, I'm not too sure, but it just sounds like power. You know what I'm saying? Just pure, uncut, unadulterated power. Now, people have said things like, oh, well, the Google Tensor chips, they're nowhere near as powerful as Snapdragon processors, and that may be true, but the things, ladies and gentlemen, that I have noticed with Google devices since they started putting the Tensor G chips in them, I've never had an issue with performance at all whatsoever for the things that I typically use the phone for. I'm a light to moderate user. I talk, I text, I browse the internet, I watch YouTube videos, I stream music on Spotify and YouTube Music. I check my email from time to time. I may send an email or two. But aside from that, I'm not gaming on my phones. I'm not watching movies on my phones. I'm more of a console gamer. So if I want to game, I wait till I get home and get on my PS5 Pro or my Series X or my Steam Deck or my Switch 2, which is right here, or the recently new to the video game collection, my Rogue Xbox Ally, the white edition. Just because I can't conceive spending $1,000 for the Rogue Ally X, and I'm not really a hardcore handheld gamer like that, but I really wanted to get into it because I was a fan of the Asus ROG Ally, and it just seems to be improved upon with the Rogue Xbox Ally. So I actually think I'm going to do a review on that as well, to talk a little bit about that, because I know that the Rogue Xbox Ally, the white one, has been getting just scandalized and maligned. And that's a $600 device, $599.99. And so, I just can't conceive why Microsoft would make something like that if it's really as bad as what people say it is. And so far, my experience hasn't been bad at all. But not to get too far off the rails here about that. That's a separate video. But yeah, I don't game on my phones, but these phones are powerful enough to where if you do want to game on your phones, you definitely have the capabilities of doing so. Yeah, that's what we got for the internal specs. Now the cameras, we got a triple camera system on the rear. We have a 48 megapixel wide lens. We have a 10.5 megapixel ultra wide lens and a 10.8 megapixel telephoto lens. These cameras are featuring all the things. I don't want to waste your time by going through the whole laundry list of features and functions that these cameras have. If you want to see all that stuff, then go to the Google site, the googlestore.com. Click on the 10 Pro Fold and look at tech specs, and just scroll down until you see cameras, and it's just a seemingly never-ending list of features that this camera possesses. So yeah. Now the front cameras, we have a 10 megapixel sensor on the front of the display while it's closed, and then we also have a 10 megapixel sensor while it's open on the 8-inch display. Okay, so we've got a total of 5 cameras in total. Okay, now the battery, we've got a 1500 milliamp hour non-removable battery. Wow. Okay. Google is claiming up to 84 hours of battery life with extreme battery saver. Okay. Fast charging up to 50% in 30 minutes. 30 watt USB-C fast charger, again, sold separately, which I won't get into a rant about that. I think, those of you that follow my channel know how I feel about no charging brick being in the box. It's almost insulting at this point to talk about how these devices have fast charging capability when the charging brick is not in the box, but you spent nearly $2,000 for the device. That always just annoys me to no end. And I feel like, the higher the premium you pay, the more all the things should come in the box. I mean, I just recently did a first initial thoughts and impressions, and my full pristine review is coming for the new B45G. That phone is $299, and right now, if you go to newmobile.com, I believe until November 3rd, and sign up for their newsletters and then receive emails from New, the company NUU, you get $100 off the B45G, making it $199.99. And that phone comes with the device, the case, the charging brick, a screen protector already installed on it, right? It comes with all the things for $199 between now and November 3rd if you choose to sign up for the newsletter. But I mean, the full retail price for that phone, which I think is still a really good deal, is $299, $300. I can't conceive how you're spending $300 on a device, and that company New has the the gumption, the unmitigated gall to include all the things in the box, right? How dare them? How dare them? But, you know, we can spend $1,800 plus tax on the 10 Pro Fold here and get nothing but this device in the box. And you see how slim this box is, so you know all there is in this box is the phone. I mean, now make that make sense. It just doesn't make sense at all whatsoever. And I'm not trying to turn this into a rant, but that's BS, man. Real talk, that's BS. You know, shout out to New, you know. Yeah, 5,015 milliamps, non-removable, fast charging capabilities, 30 watts, fast charging brick sold separately. We do have Qi 2 wireless charging certification. I know that one of the big things that people seem to really love about the new Pixel 10 lineup is Pixel Snap. And so you also find that here on the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. What that is just there's magnets built into the back of the device, giving you the ability to use all of your, you know, your MagSafe, you know, wireless charging, little things that you got lying around. If you got iPhones, Google, they're heavily, you know, advertising Pixel Snap, and so they've got their own, you know, Google Pixel branded, you know, wireless chargers, you know, things of that nature that you can, you know, buy separately. Which again, you know, like I said, I think the, you know, for the price that we're paying, the device, you know, the charging brick, you know what I'm saying, a wireless charger, you know, all that stuff should come included. I mean, because what, the charging brick by itself is like $30-$40, $29.99, $39.99. I think, you know, there's a few of different, you know, Pixel Snap little things that you can buy, and I think they start at like $59.99, going you know, on up to like $79 or $89.99 or something like that. Yeah, it's just it's nonsense. It's nonsense. The price gouging, you know, for the devices alone, and then, you know, turn around and make you pay, you know what I'm saying, I mean, much more money, you know, for accessories is just beyond me. But yeah, let me move along before I really start ranting here. Colors and dimensions, Moonstone, which is what this is. You only get two colors. This is the Moonstone color. It's like a silver. And then you get Jade, which is like a mint green. Yeah, those are the only two color combinations. As far as the dimensions, folded, we've got 6.1 inches in height by 3 inches in width by 0.4 inches depth. Unfolded, 6.1 inches height by 5.9 inches width by 0.2 inches in depth. It's 9.1 ounces. Okay, and I can tell by how, you know, heavy this box feels that this phone is, it's got some weight to it, you know, definitely. Now, additional features, VPN by Google at no extra cost, which is just, you know, Google's VPN service to keep your browsing protected if you're connected to unprotected or unsecured Wi-Fi networks, which is good for me. Like, for an example, like when I go to work and my phone is connected to the work Wi-Fi at the hospital that I work at, it's an unsecured network. You know, it's the same network that any, you know, family member or guest who are in the hospital visiting their loved ones connects to, right? And so it just kind of leaves you wide open, you know, for you know, identity theft, hackers, whatever, to get into your information. Having a VPN that you don't have to pay additional cost for is very, very useful. So, you know, salute to Google for that. You know, they're big on security, you know, end-to-end security, Pixel Snap, MagSafe tech. I've already talked about that. IP68 water and dust resistance. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is the first fully foldable device that is IP68 rated. Okay, so, as I said years ago, the technology will definitely evolve, and I knew that we will see this day, and that day has come. I mean, so, you could submerge this device. I mean, you could, you could spill things on it and just wipe it clear. It should still work just fine, all that type of thing. Okay, we've got, again, Google AI, 7 years of updates, face detection, fingerprint unlock. Now, Google is claiming that this thing can handle 10 years of folding. And ladies and gentlemen, let's be clear. Before these things, before they go into production or, before they go onto store shelves, there's machines that these devices are put on. And all the machine does is open and close them, open and close them, open and close them. Thousands of times. So they say. Right? They may do this for, devices that they're testing just to kind of get a rough estimate of how many folds, it can, withstand before it starts to go left. And then maybe they'll start the production. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to say, that if this device right here, fresh out of this box, was folded, you know what I'm saying, however many thousands of times before it got packaged, I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that. So, I'm not trying to in any way, shape, or form imply that Google is lying, but I would take that with a grain of salt. And I also think, too, it's, these devices, and this is one of the things that people are really skeptical about when it comes to these foldable devices, especially when you open it, because those displays are like polymer. It's not glass, right? It's just a harder type of plastic, but it can be damaged. These phones, they aren't the most durable. Yeah, they're durable on the exterior. Yeah, we've got Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2 and all that type of stuff. But when you open the device, that's where, things get a little bit compromising. And that's one of the drawbacks for a lot of people. The phones aren't as durable. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that, if they respect the tech, they're accident prone and things happen. Or you just got some people out there that just don't care, don't respect their tech, no matter how much they pay for it, and they just handle it however, and it just gets damaged, and then they want to turn around and blame the manufacturer or blame the build and this and that, when the phone clearly gives you instructions on how to manage it. And with devices like this, I mean, to a degree, you have to babysit them a little bit. To a degree, right? It's gotten much better than it was when they first came out. But obviously, this isn't going to be as durable as, say, a 10 Pro, a Pixel 10 Pro or Pixel 10 Pro XL. Those aren't folding devices. I mean, so you're getting Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2 front and back. You know what I mean? So, I would, take, that type of stuff with a grain of salt. 10 years of folding. Who's going to have this phone for 10 years? Updates only range for 7 years. Who's going to keep their phone for 7 years before they want to upgrade? By then we'll be on the Pixel 10, or we'll be on the Pixel 17 Pro Fold. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see anybody rocking a Pixel 10 Pro Fold 7 years from now, man. You know what I'm saying? So, we have nano and eSIM capability, dual stereo speakers, Bluetooth 6.0, satellite SOS services, sub-6 5G and 5G millimeter wave ready. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is all for the specifications. Everything that comes internal in your shiny new Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Now, let's go ahead and crack this thing out the bizox, you know what I'm saying? As you can see, the presentation is what it is. You know what I'm talking about? We got that that little box right there to the left. Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold. All right. Google little G at the top of the box. On the right of the box, also Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold. On the back of the box, nothing, but we do have these little tabs, which is how we're going to open up the device. On the bottom of the device box, we have all the serial information, IEMI info, all that type of stuff. Yeah, let's go ahead and get this thing out the box here. Okay. And you're going to slide it out. You're going to make me work? Ah, there we go. There we go. Okay. And voila. So to our surprise, ladies and gentlemen, not, our Pixel 10 Pro Fold is sitting right at the top. So please be careful the way you open this thing, because I would hate for you to open this thing and your shiny new $1,800 Pixel 10 Pro Fold go crashing to the floor. That would not be good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so let's all right. All right. Here we are, ladies and gents. The Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold, and wow, look at that. Man, the crease. That crease is pretty non-existent. Like, you could barely even feel the crease there. Wow. Shout out to the hinge game. Okay, 10 Pro Fold here, ladies and gents. Go ahead and... wait, is that our power button? Yes, power button is right here. Okay, I was about to say, I know we got some juice. There we go. Okay. So we'll set that aside. And we have a SIM ejection tool. We have our quick start guide or Google support. There's a QR code for you to scan there to get the information that you need. All right, toss that aside. And we have our Type-C to Type-C charging cable. Again, no brick inside of the box. No surprise there. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Okay, again, 8-inch display, corner to corner. To the right of the device here, we've got our volume rocker here on the bottom. Power button sits right there. You can see that. This phone is really thin. We've got an antenna line right there and right here, right above the power button. To the top of the device, we've got a little noise canceling mic right there, antenna line right here, another one here, another one here. Here's our SIM tray right here. Here's one of the speakers. That's the top firing speaker, antenna line, another noise canceling mic right here. Okay, to the left of the device, there's nothing. It's just nice and smooth. We have an antenna line here, here. And then on the bottom of the device, we have an antenna line here, here, here. Bottom stereo speaker, Type-C port, another microphone here, noise canceling mic, antenna line there. And then on the rear of the device, we've got the 6.4-inch display here. Our Google little G right there for the branding, and then there's the camera hump, and that camera hump is serious. There's some serious protrusion going on right there. That doesn't really bother me at all whatsoever. And yeah, that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for the hardware tour. So I'm gonna step aside and go ahead and get this thing set up. I'm gonna pull out my Pixel 9 Pro Fold and do a restore, get everything situated here on my Pixel 10 Pro Fold, and then, you know, in typical pristine fashion. Why do I keep saying faction? Really? Fashion. It's fashion, pristine. In typical pristine fashion, bruh. All right? In typical pristine fashion, we will do a tour of the software. and I'll talk too about some differences between the Pixel 9 Pro Fold and the 10 Pro Fold, because there aren't really a lot of differences, to be honest with you. And I believe that the Pixel 9 Pro Fold has dropped in price a little bit, if I remember correctly. And so if you're interested in one of these devices, not to talk you away from this, but from a cost-effective standpoint, either way, you're spending over $1,000 for either one of them. But, you know, if you could save a couple $100, $300, maybe, you know, depending on, you know, how far the 9 Pro Fold has dropped, and you really want one of these devices, then maybe the 9 Pro Fold may be the way to go. But I'll be right back with you.
All right, y'all, we back in with the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Now, before I proceed, if you're curious to know what the differences are between this device and the 9 Pro Fold, well, I've got all that information here for you. So here we go. These are the differences between the Pixel 10 Pro Fold and the 9 Pro Fold. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold here has a 10.4-inch outer display rather than the 10.3-inch outer display that was on the 9 Pro Fold. We have a 1080 by 2346 OLED panel at 408 ppi as opposed to the 1080 by 2424 OLED at 422 ppi. Okay, we've got up to 2000 nits HDR and 3000 peak brightness as opposed to the 1800 nits HDR and 2700 nits peak brightness found on the 9 Pro Fold. Pardon me. Now the inner display, like once you open this, when you open this device, I mean, it was an 8-inch display on the 9 Pro Fold. We also have an 8-inch display here on the 10 Pro Fold. Let's see. The inner display has up to 1800 nits HDR, 3000 nits peak brightness. The inner display on the 9 Pro Fold had up to 1600 nits HDR and 2700 nits peak brightness. All right. Pixel 10 Pro Fold has up to 84 hours of battery with extreme battery saver. The 9 Pro Fold had 72 hours battery life with extreme battery saver. Okay. Now the battery is a bit bigger here on the 10 Pro Fold over the 9 Pro Fold as well. We've got a 5015 milliamp hour battery here on the 10 Pro Fold as opposed to the 4650 milliamp hour battery found on the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. All right, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold here is Qi 2 certified, so we do have wireless charging. We had it on the 9 Pro Fold as well, but the 9 Pro Fold is only Qi 1 certified. Now, I'm not exactly sure how much higher the Qi 2 speeds are as far as, you know, being able to charge your device wirelessly on a wireless charger, but I believe that it does give you faster wireless charging speeds. All right. Now, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold here has a satin finish with spacecraft grade aluminum frame. The 9 Pro Fold just had a satin metal frame. Okay. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold here is IP68 water and dust resistant. And so I believe that this is the first foldable that has the in-grid protection rating at IP68. Other foldables, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that that's the case. This is the first that's IP68 water and dust. Other foldables may have been like splash resistant or something like that, but they haven't been IP68 rated. All right. Now, let's see. As far as the gigabyte variants for the Pixel 10 Pro Fold here, we have a 512 gig variant, a 1 terabyte variant, and those two variants have zoned UFS. All right. Now on the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, you had a 256 gig variant and a 512 gig variant that had no zoned UFS. All right. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold here, we've got the Tensor G5 chip as opposed to the Tensor G4 chip that we found on the 9 Pro Fold. Same cameras, but the cameras here on the 10 Pro Fold has dual exposure on wide camera video. It has more AI features. featuring things like Pixel Screenshot, Magic Queue, Circle to Search, Live Translate, Call Assist, Unblur, Auto Best Take, Instant View, Resize, and Move Subjects, Portrait Blur. Let's see, other camera features, Camera Coach, Auto Pixel Studio, and Sky Styles or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what that is. I'll have more information about that in the full pristine review. But just reading off some of the differences that are listed as far as like differences with the camera that this device has on it over the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. All right. And of course, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold here is launched with Android 16. The Pixel 9 Pro Fold was launched with Android 14, but I believe if you have a 9 Pro Fold by now, it's been updated to Android 16. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the main differences, or pretty much all of the differences between, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold and the 10 Pro Fold. All right, so, oh, pardon me. Just getting into the device, I did a restore from my 9 Pro Fold, and so things look exactly the way they did on my 9 Pro Fold. I no longer have that here with me because somebody made me an offer that I couldn't refuse on it, and so I went ahead and sold it. But wasn't really a big deal because it's like, hey, I've got the 10 Pro Fold, and I think for me, here's my Galaxy Z Fold 7, and before I was more of a fan of the Pixel because the aspect ratio and that outer display felt more like a candy bar style device. I like the Z Fold 7, but when you close it, it's like tall and it's thin. Typing and things, can get kind of cumbersome because things are like, a little bit smaller, a little bit more cramped, as opposed to things being a little bit more spread out, as you would find on a conventional cell phone display. For me, that's a big deal because I text a lot. I mean, I talk to most of my peeps on WhatsApp, and, we do a lot of talking. I mean, we do a lot of texting mostly, a lot of voice text, every now and again, we'll do conference calls and stuff like that, but I do text messaging a lot. And so, being able to do that very easily, is big for me. And I just find that sometimes it can be a little bit cumbersome on a display that's, a little taller. The keyboard is a little bit smaller. And I don't know what it is about Samsung devices, but I always just seem to have a really hard time texting on Samsung devices. Like I seem like I'm dyslexic or something like that. I'm always like misspelling things, or the autocorrect is, correcting what I was trying to say with something that I totally was not trying to say. And I find myself having to always go back and make corrections and stuff like that, which oftentimes can be pretty frustrating, especially if you're, just trying to send a quick text or something like that, and then you look back at it after you sent it and find that what you sent was nowhere near what you had typed. It's very strange. But it seems as though, just looking at the size, even though the Z Fold 7 is taller, it doesn't seem as though the Pixel 10 Pro Fold is wider. So I don't know. I mean, definitely, the Z Fold 7 is thinner. No doubt about that at all. I mean, this device is very, very thin. And you could see, I've got it open. It's not turned on right now, but that's how thin it is compared to, let me open up the 10 Pro Fold here. and you could just look at the two side by side from a thinness comparison. I mean, the 10 Pro Fold is thin, but it's not Z Fold 7 thin, right? I mean, it's pretty close, but both of these devices are pretty thin. But the Z Fold 7, can you see that? Can you guys see the difference there with me holding it up? I mean, it's a tad bit thinner than the 10 Pro Fold here. But you know, the 10 Pro Fold here, I mean, you could see it's about as wide as the Type-C port. I mean, so this thing is not, yeah, it's really thin as well. Okay. But yeah, let me go ahead and straighten out my camera there. There we go. And okay, you're gonna make me put my pin in. All right. Thought I already did that. Okay, here we go. Bam. Okay. Nope. Okay, there we go. So, yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. I mean, I love the way that it feels in the hand. I like the aspect ratio. Again, big 8-inch display when you open it up. We'll pop down into the settings. I just love on the foldables how, you know, when you go into the settings on a regular candy bar style device, I mean, you go into settings and then you just got your list view. But I just think it's cool. Just you've got your settings on the left side. And then, like, say if I click into sound and vibration, then all of the settings for sound and vibration just pop up on the right side. So I don't know. I'm a fan of that. I mean, one may say, oh, well, that's just how things are done on a foldable. And, you know, that's one of the main reasons why I prefer a foldable over a typical candy bar device, because you've just got more things you could do with it, you know. But let's see here. I will pop down into the settings, go to system, and let me see, software update. I know there was an update. Oh, it wants me to restart now. Okay, well, I'll do that later. But let's see, improve the security of your, okay, so this is just a security patch. Improve the security of your device, Pixel 10 Pro Fold. This update fixes critical bugs and improves the performance and stability of your device. Learn more at blah, 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 blah. All right. So, you know, it's a Pixel. So, you know, things are always going to be nice and up to date, which is always very welcoming. Pixel 10 Pro Fold, device name, blah, blah, blah. Android version 16. And there we are, ladies and gents, those of you that just love that confirmation of what's running on the device. There you have it. All right, there you have it. Read it and weep, baby. Okay, can I get out of this? There we go. All right, so now what I'll do is just kind of demonstrate biometrics really quickly. You know, we got the power button on the side here. You see that I just barely tapped the fingerprint sensor and it just opens right up. We'll check that again for accuracy. Boom, and it just opens right up. What I would like to see is that double tap to sleep, double tap to wake. I've gotten so used to that feature. Lately, I've been I'm working on my review for my Moto Razr Ultra 2025, which is what this is. And, you know, you got the double tap to wake, double tap to sleep. I mean, it's just that feature's on a lot of phones that I rock with. And so, you know, when you pick up a phone and you're double tapping the screen and nothing's happening, you know, it's just kind of like, that should at this frame of the game, and that should just be a feature, that's featured on every device. Now that's just me. I mean, that's a small little nitpick, but that's a feature that I would prefer to have, and I thought that it was going to be something that I can turn on under gestures, but sadly it's not. So it's back to pressing the old faithful power button every time I want to lock my phone or unlock my phone, which not really a big deal because the power button also doubles as the fingerprint sensor. So when you touch it, as I just displayed, the screen is going to open up. But sometimes I don't want to reach over and touch that. I just like to just tap and put the phone to sleep. You know what I mean? Just like that. Is it a big deal to have to reach over and touch the button? No. But like I said, I mean, it's just something that I've gotten used to on a lot of other phones that I have. Why not have it on the Pixel? But it is what it is. Facial recognition. Let's see if I can get that going because the camera's facing me. Oh, the camera's over here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it's interesting. You can double tap the display to wake it up. Okay. Wow. You really can't see me? All right. Okay, let's see. Boom. Okay. So my face is behind the camera, so it's not like it's seeing a part of my face. So I just want to make sure that wake it up. Boom. Okay. I wasn't tilting it far enough to see me. So yeah, facial recognition, it works well. It's on point. Yeah, it works fine. It works, it works as a flagship device's facial recognition should work. I mean, but you do have features. I mean, you don't have to have that on if you don't want. Some people, they are very adamant about not having fingerprints or faces set up on their screens or on their devices rather, and they just protect their phones by, passcodes or passwords, and that's fine as well. You have all those security options to secure your device as well. But yeah, just want to demonstrate that, facial recognition fingerprint sensor works just fine on the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Very fast, very snappy. It's going to work, when you need it to work. So yeah, I mean, as far as performance, I mean, again, Tensor G5 chipset, I expect it to, perform. It's funny because I hear a lot of things that, it's like inferior, to Snapdragon processors. And I understand, we're in 2025 and, the flagship processor of 2025 is the Snapdragon 8 Elite. I get that. But does every processor need to be that in order for it to be a good performer? I've had every Pixel device that I've had since they started making the Tensor chips. They've all been a very, very solid experience. I don't think that I've had one Pixel that I experienced like a bunch of lag or a bunch of problems, stutters, I mean, just egregious wait times waiting for apps to open up and stuff like that, multitasking. I don't game on my devices, and so I've got consoles and a plethora of handhelds. When I want to get my game on. I mean, so gaming is not really something that I do on my phones, but I mean the Tensor chips, I mean, they're very capable, of gaming. Now, depending on which Pixel phone you have, which Tensor G chip you've got, if you have an older Pixel, I mean, you may have to be mindful of some of the more graphically intense games that you can play, where you may have to, scale down settings, resolution, stuff like that in order for the game to run optimally. But it's doable. Definitely on the G5 here, I mean, you're going to be able to game, even with some of your most graphically intense games, and it's gonna handle it just fine. I haven't tested that theory myself because I don't game on phones, but I've watched some content, some other creators that have done reviews on this phone where they did test the gaming, and gaming was no problem. it was a breeze. And, you don't have to take my word for it. I mean, you can look up other reviews on YouTube, people that have reviewed this, or just type in Pixel 10 Pro Fold Gaming, and there's going to be just a slew of videos that's going to pop up. So you'll be able to see for yourself, how this thing performs while it's being gamed on. All right. So not going to be, an issue there. Let's pop into YouTube real quick. And yeah, I mean, see, things are loading up. Everything's nice and smooth, very, very responsive. I mean, I'm barely touching the display, and everything is just moving and grooving, like a hot knife through butter, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's the old school, the old school term, like a hot knife through butter. So yeah, let's, take it to the Bible app really quickly. And, let me get that New King James Version. Let me get that. All right, continue. And yeah, I mean, just popped into my Bible app. This is an app that I stay on all day, every day. Highly recommend that, you guys as well, if you're spiritually fit. All right, pop into Amazon really quickly. And like I said, a lot of these apps I haven't signed in yet, but you can see it's popping right into the app. So if I have signed in, and it will be, where I can scroll and shop and just, do my thing. Let's see. Let's pop into Best Buy really quickly. Okay. Now, interesting. Best Buy sometimes takes a second to get into. I've noticed this on other devices as well. So I don't really think that this is a Tensor, G5 thing, but it very well could be. I don't know, because this is actually taking a bit longer than expected to go into this app. So I don't know if it. A new version of Best Buy app is available. Get the latest features and improved functionality for an ideal app experience. Okay, let's get the update. Okay, so maybe that was what was causing the holdup. It was trying to launch an older version of it. But you could see it's already loaded up. It's already at 100%. So that was pretty fast. And oh, well, I thought it did. It said 100%. Okay, well, I guess I have to wait for it to change and say go in the app or something like that. Okay, there it goes. Oh, now it's installing. Okay. But yeah, so we'll let that do its thing real quick. And let's see, where else can I go? Let's go to eBay real quick. Okay, just popped right into eBay. No problem. All right. This is what, it looks like, all the apps that were opened, that were held in the RAM. We'll tap on Spotify, go back to that. We'll go back to the Play Store. Okay, so now Best Buy is ready to open now. So what I'll do is I'll just close all this stuff out and then go to it again and see how long it takes. Boom. Okay, so didn't take long at all. It says sign in right there or create an account. And so yeah, it didn't open up super swiftly because there was an update to the app that needed to happen. So sometimes stuff like that will happen. If the app needs an update, it won't go right into it. But yeah, from a performance standpoint, I don't see this device, being an issue at all, because like I said, other Pixel devices, I mean, they all ran nice, fine, smooth, no problems. Now, with this being a foldable, you have the option to, multitask. And so you can create these little app, they're not app doubles, but you can create like apps where you can just tap on the two apps that you frequently go to, and you can pull them up. So, you know, I'm a big music guy, so like Spotify and YouTube Music. So Spotify just loaded up on the left side, YouTube Music loaded up on the right side, and you can see these are two completely different applications. And that's pretty dope. Now, you know, I really wish that Microsoft would have continued to support the Surface Duo, because I thought that the Surface Duo was really cool. You know, just having, you know, I love the aspect ratio of that device, and the fact that, you know, each display on the left and right side were separated. You know, there were, you know, hinges that, you know, they were separate. So, yeah, I don't know, for whatever reason, just Microsoft decided to not support it, and it went by the wayside. So, yeah, RIP to the Microsoft Surface Duo, and the Duo 2. So, yeah, so let's see. So like shopping, I mainly do most of my shopping for tech on Amazon and Best Buy. So, you know, you can see, got Amazon on the left, Best Buy on the right. You know, this is great if I'm looking for something, if I'm trying to do like price matches or something like that. You know, I'm all about saving money wherever I can, you know. So, you know, I'm always looking to match prices. I'm one of those guys to where when I buy something from Best Buy, I'll keep looking for it days after I bought it, like all the way up to my return period. And I'm a Best Buy Plus member, so I get 60-day returns rather than 14-day returns, right? And so what I'll do is I'll buy something and I'll keep doubling back every day and checking to see if what it was that I bought went on sale. And if it does, then I'm going right back down to Best Buy to get that price match, because it's Best Buy and they're just like, our prices won't be beat. So, you know, if I went and bought something for $500 and then I check it again and I see it's on sale for $400, I can go in the store either with my receipt or pull my receipt up on my Best Buy app, because all that stuff is stored under purchases, and pull up the receipt. And, you know, they'll either give me, you know, a store credit of $100, or if I elect to have the money go back to my original, you know, form of payment, I can have that $100 go back to my debit card, you know, and that's $100 back in my pocket. I do stuff like that at Best Buy all the time. So it's like, yo, I understand the store is called Best Buy, but I'm also looking to get the Best Buy. So yeah, I don't let them off the hook. I'll be all over them trying to save $1. And you've got a little line right here in the middle, so you can, you know, click and drag one to be bigger than the other. Or if I want to, you know, focus my attention more so on Amazon, then I can make that a little bigger. And then I can bring it back to center. And speaking of center, you do feel the crease right here, but it's nothing egregious. It's definitely something that you get used to. Yeah, but you know, I just think like this level of multitasking right here is not something that you could do on a regular candy bar style device. I understand, you know, a lot of the Android devices, you can like run your finger across the middle, you know, to the right and left real quick, and then it'll split the screen top and bottom. But there's nothing like being able to multitask side by side like this. Like I think that multitasking should be in this particular configuration. In just my opinion, it's easier for me to do the whole, you know, one app up top and the other one bottom. It's doable, but this right here in my mind is how multitasking should be done. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, you know, you guys, you know, get you get the idea. But yeah, pop into the settings, and you know, I know typically with unboxings, you know, I go off all this. I'm not gonna do all that. I mean, you guys aren't rookies with this stuff, man. I mean, you know, this phone has all the things, all the settings, you know, network and internet connected devices, apps, notifications, sound, vibration, modes, display and touch, wallpaper and style storage, backup or copy data, battery, system, you know, under system, keyboard, live translate, navigation mode, gestures now, go to gestures. This is where I was thinking that I'll have that double tap to sleep, double tap to wake, but it's not. So all we have for gestures is double tap to start actions. That's like, so I have it set to double tap on the back of the phone to take a screenshot. We got double press the power button to open up the camera, flip camera for selfie. What is that? Oh, see, that's a that's cute. That's a Motorola feature right there. They stole that straight out of the Motorola playbook. Because the Razr here, they have, you know, you get, let me see if I can do it real quick. You like twist your wrist and it opens up the camera. You see? And then it's like, while it's in this, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's, and see, if I had the Razr flipped open, then I can flick my wrist again, and then it will go to the selfie camera on the inner display when the device is open. You see, so that's a playbook that they stole straight out of the Motorola playbook. I mean, hey, it's convenient. So all you got to do is just, you know, give your wrist a couple of flicks and the camera comes on. You know, it's convenient for not missing a critical moment. If something is happening, you need to, you know, catch it real quick. You could either, you know, double tap the power button real quick, or just, you know, shake your wrist a couple of times and, you know, flip the camera for selfie. So what it says is to switch in and out of the selfie mode in Google Camera, double twist when you're in the app. Okay, so that's what that is. All right, you got tap to check phone. So, you know, if the phone's asleep and it's sitting on a flat surface, you can just tap it, you know, to wake up the display. That's nice, but you can't tap it or double tap it to put it to sleep, which is a feature that I would really like. You got flip to so if you want to put your phone on D&D or like silent mode, you just flip it on its face. And, you know, if your lady's asking why your phone is sitting face down, I mean, you could just, you know, talk about that nice, moonstone, you know, color finish that, that Google decided to go with on the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. And you can just kind of marvel at, you know, just how cosmetically stunning it looks, and just show admiration, you know, for the device, you know, while you're trying to, you know, pull a fast one over on your lady because of your scumbaggish ways, you know. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all my scumbags out there, man. You know what I'm saying? No judgment, man. No judgment. Y'all do what y'all do. You know what I'm saying? Scumbag gang, what up, man? Yeah. I'm just tripping with y'all, man. I'm clowning. I hope you guys are doing right by your women. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully your women are doing right by y'all. You know what I'm saying? Happy spouse, happy house. That's what it is right there, you know. And then you got press and hold the power button, and, you know, I just always elect to access the power menu. You know, a lot of times by default that is to launch the digital assistant, Gemini or whatever, but, you know, I'll just say, hey Google, or okay Google, like I just did, and, you know, yeah. So as far as accessing the voice assistant, I would much rather just, you know, hold the button down and power off the device, restart the device, you know, that type of thing. Cancel, thank you. So yeah, that's all that we have under gestures. Okay. Date and time, backup, software update, rules, users, repair mode, reset options. All right. What else meaningful can I tell you about the settings? We got Magic Cue, personalized suggestions and actions. Okay, so Magic Cue uses AI to proactively show useful details and time-saving actions relevant to what's on your phone. So you've got things like find info instantly, which it says Magic Cue shows you the info you need based on what you're doing on screen, so you don't have to go find it. Okay, that's turned on by default. You've got finish tasks faster. When you need to finish a task in another app, Magic Cue shows you a link to complete the action. Magic Cue is so smart. And then you've got get suggestions while using apps. When Magic Cue has suggestions while you're using certain apps, they appear at the bottom of your screen. All right. Now, data sources for suggesting info or actions. You got use data from specific apps. So you could choose which apps Magic Cue should use data from. You got use data from recent screen activity, use foundational data, and then you got Magic Cue updates. And I did not mean to tap on that. So let's see. For use data from recent on screen activity, allow Magic Cue to review recent screen activity. For use foundational data, allow the use of foundational data such as the email and phone numbers from your Google account. Okay, so that, ladies and gents, is what Magic Cue is and what it does. It's an AI to simplify your life, and yeah, it's there for you if you want it, but you could always turn it off if you don't want it. All right. Safety and emergency accessibility tips and support. Now, accessibility, I like to, read these things off because I know that certain, listeners or subscribers of mine, either are hearing or vision impaired. And so, reading off the list of accessibility functionality is very helpful and useful to these said individuals. And, I want my videos to appeal to the masses. And, a lot of these devices, they're not just, created for people that aren't dealing with any type of, ailments, but they're created for all, whether you're dealing with an ailment or not. So as far as accessibility, you've got screen reader, talkback. For a display, we've got display size and text. We've got color and motion, magnification, adjust brightness for sensitive eyes, select to speak. And then under interaction controls, we've got accessibility menu. This is off by default, but this is controlling the device via a large menu, so that if you have trouble seeing, then you can enlarge the menu, which will, help your ability to navigate your device. We've got voice access. Again, that is also turned off by default. Control the device with your voice. We've got vibration and haptics. Switch access, also off by default. Control device with switches or front camera. We've got timing controls, system controls. And then under captions, we've got live caption, live transcribe, caption preferences, real-time text or RTT. Under audio, we've got audio description. This is here a description of what's happening on screen in supported movies and shows. Flash notifications, sound amplifier, sound notifications, hearing devices, audio adjustment. And then under general, we've got accessibility shortcuts and text to speech output. Those are all of the features and functions that we find under the accessibility tab under the settings on the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. All right. And then underneath that, we've got tips and support, which, yeah, that's there for you if you need it. So now, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one left thing to do, and that is pop into the camera and, take a few test shots and see what it's looking like. Now, this is a Pixel, so, I think you guys already know what to expect or know what I'm expecting. Pixel cameras are some of the most highly regarded cameras on smartphones today, and has been for a little while. It's always been a cross between the iPhone, the Pixels, Samsung, Huawei, Xiaomi. These are some, Motorola, Sony. These are all, manufacturers with their top tier devices. I mean, you're looking to get some pretty, good camera performance. Now, obviously, some are better than others. But in 2025, is it possible to get a trash camera? Is it? Knowing that the best pocket or the best camera that you have is the one that's in your pocket. And cameras on mobile devices have gotten really good. They've gotten much better on mid-tier devices. They've gotten much better on budget devices. And so, camera tech and cell phones these days really get prioritized. But this is a $1,800 device. So one would expect that for a device this expensive, that everything is going to be top notch. And if it's not, then anything less than that would just be simply uncivilized. So obviously, first time opening up the camera, we're greeted with, before you start, motion photo, which is capture a few seconds of video when taking a photo. Okay, I don't want that on. Okay, we have top shot, automatically takes several photos when there are people in the picture to make sure you get the perfect shot. Okay, and then we have auto best take, automatically choose the best expressions from photos taken around the same time to create a new image, but this requires top shot to be on. Okay, and then it says you could always change these preferences in camera settings. All right. So yeah, you'll go ahead and hit done, and then that's going to take you to the viewfinder. And then, ladies and gents, as you can see, the viewfinder starts off with photo, as it always does. To the left of photo, we've got portrait, add me, dual screen is on, camera is using, okay, latest AR app is needed, add me requires the latest version of the Google Play services for AR app, go to Play Store. Okay. And then it says analyzing scene, and then we have long exposure. It says dual screen preview is not available for long exposure. Okay, I didn't think that it was, but apparently add me is a dual screen functioning feature, which I did not know, but you learn something new every day. No matter how old we get, we can never stop learning. So then to the right of photo, we have night sight, and we have panorama, or panorama, however you pronounce it. Okay, we have settings right here for general settings, and we have pro settings. So under pro settings, you can, RAW or JPEG or lens selection. Okay. And then under general, we have night sight, more light. That's on auto. We have top shot. We got motion photo, timer, macro focus, and full image. By default, it's on 4:3, but I think you could change it to a 16 by 9. Yes, wide crop. Yes, 16 by 9. So we'll just go ahead and take it back to 4:3, which is where I prefer it to be. And let's see here. What is this here? Okay, we've got ultra wide, autofocus, ISO. So these are pro settings where you can, control the shadows, the exposure, the white balance. Let's see. Focus, shutter speed, ISO. Okay, so yeah, you've got manual focus. Okay, yeah, that's under pro, but I wasn't trying to get into that. So yeah, peaking active, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so I would just take a quick test shot really quickly. Oh, that's just beautiful. That is just lovely. Let me see. Take a quick photo of my water bottle here. Okay. Let's see here. My little lei that's right here hanging on the lamp. All right, and we'll go ahead and look at that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is nice and crisp as I imagined it would be, because it's a pixel. Do more with this photo. I mean, obviously there's all kind of, you know, AI things that you can do after a photo has been taken. Let's see, this is the water bottle that I took the photo of, which, I mean, it looks like my smart water bottle that's right here. But I must say that, you know, the detail is rather stunning. All right. Oh, okay. Didn't mean to do that. And let's see. Now we can go to switch the camera around, and this is the selfie mode, and you can see me behind my Sony ZV-1 Mark II, which is what I'm recording this content with. And you could see, you know, the autofocus, it found my face, or it did. Interesting. I saw the little tracker on the screen. Now it's not. All right, so take a quick selfie. Boom. Okay, there's the tracker right there. But yeah, and you saw photo was taken instantly. No shutter lag of any sort, as some people like to, you know, make a big deal about. Yeah, well, that's mainly on Samsung devices. So my bad. I think I misspoke there. I've never really heard of anybody complaining about shutter lag on a Pixel device. So yeah, never mind that. But yeah. What is this here? Oh, okay. So you've got a viewfinder, and then you got the photos, the two photos that I just took. Wow, okay, that's pretty nice. Now, if we go into video, and then for video, we have selfie illumination, resolution. By default, it's on 1080p, 30 FPS. You can change it to 60. You can change the resolution down to, or up to 4K. And then under more, you've got speech enhancement, and that's on by default. And then now notice we've got these three little dots up there. What does that do? Okay, so that takes you to the full array of camera settings. Okay, so we've got save location, camera sounds, device storage, camera scan suggestions. This was actually what I was looking for. So composition, framing hints, grid. I do have a grid by I have that on rule of thirds. And that's what I like, at least. But you do have no grid, 3x3 or 4x4, or golden ratio rule of thirds, or 3x3 is how I liked the grid to be. So I'll just keep that there. You got keep selfies as seen, so save selfies as they appear on the screen. Okay, that's on by default. You've got guided frame for people with blindness or low vision. It helps frame and automatically take photos. Okay, and then it says see tutorial right there. That's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice feature to have for people that need that. And then you got camera coach. Okay, get photo inspiration and capture the perfect shot with step-by-step guidance. That's a pretty nice little feature to have. Then under fast access, you've got quick access controls, adjust white balance, brightness, and shadows by tapping the viewfinder, which I just displayed that a few minutes ago. We've got volume key action, palm timer, start a photo timer by showing your palm to the front of the screen. Okay, that's a Samsung feature. They tore that straight out of the Samsung playbook for the Samsung cameras, which are also really good, by the way. We've got unfold shortcut, standard camera. Okay, let me go into that. Okay, automatically launch a dual screen feature when you unfold while using the camera. And then it says standard camera, rear camera, selfie, dual screen preview, or made you look. Okay, by default it's on standard camera, so that's just what we will roll with. Because I never played with that before. All right. Rich color in photos, that's off by default, but it says use display P3 color format instead of sRGB for richer and more vibrant colors. Display P3 may not be visible before the photo is taken or supported on all platforms or apps. So something you may want to be mindful of. We've got Ultra HDR. Okay. Ultra HDR brightens the lightest parts of images and shows more vibrant colors than default HDR plus processing. That's on by default. We've got auto best take. Again, automatically choose the best expressions for photos taken around the same time. To create a new image requires Top Shot to be on. We have social media depth features. Depth data will be saved. This data may be used by social media apps. Top Shot will be turned off and photos may take longer to process. Okay, we've got frequent faces. We've got astrophotography. Okay, under video stabilization, that's on by default. Audio zoom, zooming in on subject boosts sound and reduces background noise. That too is on by default. Video format, optimize FPS, automatically adjust from 60 FPS to 30 FPS to optimize the recording experience when needed. That is off by default. Okay, under advanced capture, we've got timing light, flashes the back camera light during the timer countdown. Then we've got show dirty lens warning, display warning when the lens may be too dirty to take high quality pictures. Wiping off the lens may help. And then we have help and feedback. Help and feedback, send feedback and help. Okay. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all for the camera. And that is actually, ladies and gents, where I'm going to call this video. Okay. So this is the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, ladies and gentlemen. I am your man, Pristine, bringing you the content. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to expose yourself to tons of videos that I've done like this one. Be sure to hit that notification bell so that as soon as my videos drop, you'll get notified and you can be one of the first to check out the content. And the comment section, ladies and gentlemen, is where I'm always chilling at. And so if you've got any questions, comments, or feedback of any kind, please do not hesitate to reach out to me in the comment section and I will respond to your questions, comments, or feedback as soon as I possibly can. And my cat is scratching at the door trying to get in. Really, Jackie? Jax? Really? Come on in if you're coming in, man. Sheesh. Yeah. So all I ask is that there's just no disrespect in the videos, and you know, I don't dignify disrespect with responses, and let's just keep it positive and let's talk tech respectfully. That's all I ask. And so you already know, please stay safe, get spiritually fit if you haven't already, because we're definitely living in the last days. And I'm not saying that to scare anyone, but if you're a believer in Christ, as I am, then you by now, I'm sure, have read the book of Revelations in your Holy Bible, and everything that's going on in the world, it talks very, very specifically about. All this stuff was written, which means that we are very, very close to the second coming of Christ. And my question to you is, are you prepared for that? If death were to creep around some unsuspecting corner, where is your soul going to last for eternity? Something to think about. Tomorrow is not promised. So don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today. That said, I'm your man Pristine, bringing you the content. This is the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Stay tuned for the full Pristine review on not just this device, but a plethora of other devices. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.